This is Bill with TANDEMKROSS, making good guns great. The firing pin in any rimfire gun is a consumable part. It can deform, it can chip, it can even break completely eventually. To save you the hassle of sending your Smith & Wesson 22 Victory back to the factory for a replacement, TANDEMKROSS offers the Fire Starter replacement firing pin. It's made from hardened tool steel to resist mushrooming and can withstand both extreme heat and extreme cold. It's also really easy to install, so let me show you how it's done. To do this install, you're going to need a 1/8 Allen wrench and a very thin punch. And of course, your firing pin. Before you start, make sure to do a safety check. Check that the chamber is empty, and so is the mag well. Now use your 1/8 Allen wrench to take the takedown screw right here below the barrel out. And then remove the upper and the bolt. Now you're going to need to remove the spring rod. It's very possible that it came loose on its own as you were taking the upper off, but if not, flip the bolt over and use your Allen wrench to press in slightly against the butt of the spring rod right here. Compress the spring a little bit and then ease it out of its place. At the front of the bolt here, there's this black plastic housing that holds the firing pin. From the underside of the bolt, you can see a bit of it through this narrow gap. Use your punch to push that housing out of the bolt. On each side of the housing, you should see a small circle. Right there. That's the two ends of a pin that holds the firing pin inside. Hold the firing pin on each end so it can't go flying, and then use your punch to push that retaining pin out. It doesn't matter what side you do it from. Now take your firing pin out of the housing. There's a little spring and detent that you'll want to be careful not to lose. Then open up your new firing pin and put it back in the housing. There's only one way that it'll go that will allow it to fit and allow the hole in the firing pin to line up with the hole through the housing. Hold the firing pin in place from both ends and then put the retaining pin back in. Now put the plastic housing back in the bolt. There's also only one way that this part will go back in. That will also allow the spring rod to go back in, which is with the protruding end of the firing pin pointing towards the back of the bolt and this curved surface facing left. The easiest way to get the spring rod back in is to insert your Allen wrench into this hole at the front of the bolt. Then thread this dangling end of the spring onto the end of the Allen wrench. Push the Allen wrench out of the hole by compressing the spring. The Allen wrench will help guide the spring rod back into its correct position. Now you can put the bolt back in the upper. You can set the upper back on the frame. And you can screw the takedown screw back in. And if everything moves the way you expect it to when you're done, then you are good to go. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or suggestions about this video, be sure to let us know in the comments. And don't forget to click subscribe and the little bell button so that you get notifications whenever we upload new content. You can also find us on other social media sites like Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. And you can get this product and many more at www.tandemkross.com.